I will say this though about Kevin Kiermaier, Blue Jays fans, he's playing you guys like a fiddle. He is playing the media and the good guy. I love
Well,
Canada. He's playing you
What does that
guys
even
like a
mean?
fiddle.
Kiermaier playing Jays fans like a fiddle, as said by Justin Pooney on yesterday's show. April 12th, 2020. What year are we in? 23. A rivalry was born. Justin Pooney against the Zoobs. I didn't think anybody could ever have any rivalry against the nicest man on the planet, and that's Andrew Zuber, the Zoobs, who joins us right now. Zoobs, do you have an issue with what Pooney said yesterday?
So you know me, I'm ultimate team player. Something comes out from Homestand, I'm watching it, and I have watched personality after personality. Justin finds a way, right? So much great young talent on this channel. So many incredible young minds of all walks of life,
Except
and I've watched
James
them
Sharman.
all. I've watched them all fall into the trap. Doesn't matter the sport. I watched him go on the football show, and he finds a way. I watched him go on the basketball show, terrorize the poor people on the basketball shows. I've watched him switch lanes. You want to talk about footy? You want to talk soccer? He's got a lane. And I said, I'm sitting back laughing, right? For months, I'm smirking. I'm like, I'm a 37-year-old man. I got daycare payments. I got a kid. I got mortgage, car payments. I got real problems. This guy has nothing on me. And then Twitter timeline yesterday, Kevin Kiermaier playing Jays fans like a fiddle. I have to doff my cap. He's done it. Justin, you've done it. I thought it was impossible. I thought I was so level, even kill. You last year you had the on the street with the Mariners jersey, and I was like, that's fun. Fair play to him. He knows what he's doing. And here I am, gotten to red in the face.
This is what he does. He knows how to get under the skins of Toronto fans. Is Kiermaier, is he playing it up a little bit to the Jays fans?
I was happy that listen, obviously he is playing it up. He was public enemy number one. That is a very astute observation. He was the Ray that we hated the most. Sort of you hate him so much because you just want to grab him and hug him and kiss him because you wish he was yours, sort of that jealousy. And now he's here and listen, he's hamming it up. Obviously he's hamming it up, but this idea that it's different than any other sort of, we were having the Raptors postmortem today, all those guys. I love Toronto, I'll stay in Toronto. Meanwhile, you're a free agent and like whoever pays you the most is going to be your next loyalty. He's hammering it up, obviously, but he does also seem to be a guy that is legitimately excited to play here, doing pull-ups in the dugout, and he is notably the first guy on the field when home runs get hit. He's sprinting out to center field. I think he is first week on a new job sort of vibe where you haven't yet looked around at your coworkers and been like, this place is kind of BS, right? He is very much like still going through the training modules, still meeting the manager, still having his one-on-ones and feeling good. So I think, listen, it's a mutual love. He's playing well and the fans love it, and he's an exciting guy to watch. So I think there's genuinely, he is excited to play for the team. Is it a bit over the top? Maybe, but 3.5 minute conversation off the top. I can't look at how flustered I am.
I love it. I think it's great. I love the guy. I love the game that he plays. I personally never considered him as a true enemy of the Blue Jays. I understand it because he's been on the Rays for a long time.
Well,
I just don't remember the last time the Jays had a real enemy. Maybe like Brett Gardner, Pedroia, Youkilis. You can look at those guys, but
Rougned Odor.
But yeah, Rougned Odor. But I'll let you have the floor here. I'll let Pooney have the floor.
He stole the card off of Alejandro Kirk's
Ladies and gentlemen,
I love that.
I got him. I finally got tapped in on the baseball to get trigger the baseball. He's flustered. He's sweating more than we are in this.
It's hot in
the
here
studio.
too.
I'm fogging up.
But look,
sake.
like
are you gonna live and die by this take? By the way,
of course, I said it. It's on wax now. I have to.
It's on national television.
It's on national TV, right? Global international TV, right? I said it.
Okay, go.
I agree with what you said. It's like the first week on the job vibes. Everything's happy. But let's wait until he's on like a 2 for 20 slump hitting wise. Is he still going to be out there post game saying all that stuff? No, right? Let's see what happens and if he keeps the same energy throughout the season and towards the end of the season as well. That was my thing, right? He's trying to really sell it up and really become a fan favorite here, because he knows if he plays to the Canadian media and he plays to the fan base, that it's going to put them in his good graces. But let's see if that energy continues. That's all my point was.
Right. And I also think he truly believes that he's on a team, Zoobs, that can win the World Series, and he's playing up to what his potential could be. But do you think it's sustainable, his play right now?
I mean, I don't think he's going to be hitting 350. The concern with Kiermaier, and it was the concern before, and it will remain the concern, is he going to be healthy? Are we going to be in the summer, and not so much that his play has fallen off, but is he even still in the lineup, right? This is a guy that doesn't have the track record of health that you want out of a starting center fielder that is playing essentially on concrete, right? Like hasn't played more than 130 games since 2015, which is 8 years ago. That's a lot of time. And not that, again, they have some depth there, but yeah, the question is almost more about health than it is production. I don't think he's going to be a 350 hitter. That obviously is a thing that's not going to be, but the line that, I don't know if you've heard the broadcast say this 14 times in the last week, but he wants to be the best number 9 hitter in baseball. And that's pretty achievable. That's pretty reasonable. Stuff like last night, laying down a bunt in the 10th, it's very small and it's not obviously the game-winning play, but stuff like that, going first to third, they just weren't doing that in the last couple of years. And they had a great laissez-faire attitude, and it was very fun for the vibes. It's a lot more. You can already tell they're playing serious baseball this year. They're playing execution is what matters. They're playing, I hate to overuse the word, the little things, but they're doing this stuff that is like ultimately categorized under winning baseball as an umbrella. And I think he brings that to the team, probably more so than he brings the pull-ups and the glad handing to the fans.
Zoobs, I want to talk about George Springer. Of course, singled in the winning run last night when they beat the Tigers in extra innings. He's got a couple home runs this year, 6 runs batted in, batting .269. When healthy, and if right, how important is George Springer to the Blue Jays' success this year? Is he that lead dog? You know how in basketball they have that guy. Is he that guy for the Toronto Blue Jays?
Yeah, I would think if you were to do a who's the most important guy on the team conversation, I would think Springer is it'd be impossible to have him lower than second. I think he's probably number 1 because he leads off, sets the tone. Maybe a little more last year because he was playing center, but he really takes some of the pressure off of Vladdy and Bo to carry everything. He's a guy that's on base for them, that is sort of handling the brunt of things. And as you said, I mean, when he's healthy, you can go all the way back to as many years as you want to go back, basically all the way back to 2016. He's been an elite player in this spot, and a guy that you can, he hits lead off for them. He could hit fourth if he wanted to. He could hit second or third, play right, center. I think the way that things are built around right now with Varsho and Kiermaier, like we talked about, the team this year is a lot more built around making sure Springer is a part of this lineup every day and is a guy that is, as you say, contributing at the very top and being such an important linchpin. I think he really unlocks a lot of things for this lineup.
We're speaking to Andrew Zuber, the Zoobs of Less Than Jays podcast. Time to start talking about the starting rotation. We talked about this yesterday. I'm very concerned considering 4 of the 5 starters haven't been really good to start this season. I was looking at some numbers today, and outside of Gosman, 4 of the starters have 9 of a combined ERA, Zoobs, of 7.95 across 43 innings. When is the time to start actually being concerned about this? I know it's early, but is this something that maybe you want to address sooner rather than later?
Sure. 2 sides to this, of course. I think you could count on one hand how many good starts they've had this year. I think you say Gosman's probably had 2 good starts. Manoah had 1. Kikuchi had 1. That's 4 good starts, probably. And they're 8-4, right? It's that's decent. You'll take it. There are teams that would get better starting pitching and have a worse record. But this is where the outfield defense comes in. This is where how good the bats comes in. The fact that they have 3 of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. There's an old adage in baseball that nothing that happens in April or September really matters in the grand scheme of things, just in terms of this is where the real outliers tend to happen. I would say 5 starts if you're looking at if Manoah continues to not look like a top of the rotation guy. 5 starts is probably the cutoff for okay, now are we talking about Tiedemann? Now are we talking about how long till Ryu is back, which is its own problem. The real concern for me, and we'll see tonight, Chris Bassett has not inspired a ton of confidence in me so far. I don't love the calling your own game. I know that makes me sound like a dinosaur and makes me sound like I'm 60 years old. I just get nervous. Pitchers calling their own game. A guy who throws 8 pitches and none of them are really spectacular. The sinker hasn't been great. And with Manoah specifically, when you look at the profile, there's not a lot of stuff that jumps out at you as being elite stuff. He did a really good job last year of sort of working that sinker and slider mix, and the 2-seam, the 4-seam, and his fastball was really important. And we saw in that last start, when he doesn't have the fastball command, teams really aren't afraid of him that much. The slider really is a lot less threatening when you can see it coming out of the hand the way you can, because the fastball isn't scaring you at all. He needs to be at 95. He was at 92, 93 in the last game. That's concerning. Barrios, I mean, geez, Louise, holy cow. The guy can't throw fastball. When you can't throw fastball, that's a really big problem in baseball. So yeah, there's reason to sweat about it. There's reason to be concerned about it. When you say Kikuchi, you're like, Kikuchi's probably the second or third most reliable guy right now who got some bad luck in the last go round. It's not great because there's also a ton of money tied up to that. I think they're 25th right now in starters ERA. They've been a little lucky that the bullpen's been pretty good. But you can only go to Trevor Richards so many times before you start really playing with some fire there. So yeah, it's a minor concern. It's obviously the biggest concern on the team right now, but that is also a product of how good the bats have been. So yeah, concern level, I would say it's a yellow. It's a yellow approaching orange probably.
For Barrios, my main concern is I feel like maybe he's just completely lost it and there's no coming back. Do you share that same opinion, or is that a crazy take?
I'm trying so hard. I
Like,
tried
Zoobs,
all
it's
year
just
last
terrible.
year.
Like, it's almost like he's just lost it completely. It's a
Yeah.
Space Jam thing where the monsters took all his powers.
Well, man, not being able to throw your fastball. We saw it with Manoah again the other night. But Barrios has had this for now a full year and a half, dating back to sort of the middle of 2021. When you can't consistently throw fastball, it takes away from your other pitchers. And he has a great secondary pitch. That slurve sweeper thing that he throws is one of the more effective pitches in baseball. But when you take away the threat of the fastball, when guys don't have to gear up for fastball and react to off speed, when they don't have to worry about fastball, they can just take that pitch and wait for you to come back to fastball. And when he throws fastball, guys are crushing it, no exceptions. There are some glimpses, right? Sort of the weird Barrios stat was last year he had the same amount of quality starts as Kevin Gausman did. He just so happened that like when he blew up, he really blew up. And we even saw it this year. Like he'll pitch 5 innings and 3 of them in the middle will be really good, but the first and the last one are so bad that you have to take him out. It's not great. And it speaks to something going on with consistency, whether it's mechanics, whether it's a thing that he can't find a repeatable rhythm. It's a cause for concern. And I tried, you sort of want to get out of like, let's not make every single time he appears be a referendum on him as a pitcher. But it's hard when he gets hit hard, he gets hit really hard, and he gets hit in order. He gets hit consistently over and over again in these streaks. It's hard to stem that tide. It really is.
Zoobs, we got 1 minute left. I just want to talk to you about the Tampa Bay Rays, undefeated. What has made them so good this season to get off this hot start?
Man, it's magic voodoo. I don't. The Rays just they have a way, and this is sort of I think the media here in Toronto is very nice to Pete Walker. I think if Pete Walker was doing what the Tampa Bay Rays do with their pitchers, he would be like the most popular guy in the world. They have great pitching. They get the most out of their pitchers, and they sort of go. There are a lot of different ways to build a team. You can have stars and then fill in guys. They have a thing where just everybody is good. That there's no real time off in that lineup. Guys can do a little bit of everything. Randy Arozarena is really a star, really just a star player. We saw him really break out in the WBC and in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Wander Franco somehow already is like a young veteran at 22 years old. They have a lot of strengths, and they don't give things away. They play solidly. They pitch well. They have a really great bullpen. They have all the little things that make up a winning baseball team. They sort of do all of them without sort of the downside of a lot of that stuff.
Arozarena, I think, became one of my favorite players after the World Baseball Classic. Just a great guy. Andrew Zuber, the Zoobs of Less Than Jay's podcast. Thank you so much. Let's do this again soon, man.
Thank you, fellas. Can't wait.
All right, take care, Zoobs. All right, coming up after the break, me and Pooney wrap up the show